sharper than any two-edged sword. And I pray today, God, that the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart would be faithful to that word. Well, here it is. Again, Palm Sunday comes once every year. Palm branches are all in a pile this year because last year, I appreciate that. I was afraid to walk out here and step on one and my feet fly out from under me. So they're right here in a pile. It'll make it nice and handy when I gather them up and take them back to my office and put a string around them and tie them up and hang them in my closet until Ash Wednesday, 2018. But I'll take them out and burn them and use the ashes for the Ash Wednesday service. So here we are, joyous beginning of Holy Week. The waving palm branches and the loud shouts that fill the air. Blessed be the one who comes in the name of the Lord. The people are tired of the corrupt King Herod. They want Jesus to be the ruler, their king. And we know the story well, particularly those of us who've grown up in the church and all. And it's easy to grasp the meaning of Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a colt, while the crowds shout their praises and roll out the red carpet for him. The crowds go wild, and so do we. We wave our palm branches. We want Jesus to be our king and to rule our world with love and justice. Everyone is jostling for a better view. The king, the son of David, is coming. But Palm Sunday, folks, isn't just about a king and a colt or a crowd in their cloaks. It's about the self-emptying that Christ voluntarily offered on the cross. And it raises a number of questions for us as we enter into Holy Week. What was accomplished by Jesus' self-emptying? How did this self-emptying result in fullness? And how do we empty ourselves so that God can fill us? Holy Week forces us to confront this self-emptying, which is full of significance for anyone trying to follow Christ. So for starters, what was accomplished by self-emptying? Paul tells us that Jesus was in the form of God, but did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited. In the words of Eugene Peterson's translation of the Bible, The Message, Jesus didn't think so much of himself that he had to cling to the advantages of that status, no matter what. Jesus didn't think so much of himself as being God in the flesh that he had to cling to that status. Instead, Jesus emptied himself, taking the form of a slave. Being born in human likeness and being formed in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. Christ emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, so that he looked for all the world like an ordinary, very calm, nondescript, perhaps even marginalized human being. If you read the suffering servant passages from Isaiah, Isaiah's description of this suffering servant was that he didn't even look human. So what is accomplished by this? The text tells us that God highly exalted him, highly exalted Jesus, and gave him a name that is above every name. So at the name of Jesus, every knee should bend in heaven and on the earth and under the earth. And every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. You know, Palm Sunday would be easy for us to understand if it contained only the familiar, kings and coats and crowns and cloaks. And in this version of the story, King Jesus would ride into town, confront King Herod, and the one with the biggest crowd would win. But emptying turns our expectations upside down. Precisely because Jesus emptied, humbled, lowered, and abased himself, God exalted him and made him the king of all creation. It doesn't sound logical, does it? That in humbling himself, Christ was exalted. The accomplishment of this emptying is fullness and glory and power. And this is the opposite, just the opposite of what we would expect. Emptiness and embarrassment and powerlessness. Next, how does this self-emptying result in fullness? For Jesus, self-emptying leads to glory and power because it's based on humility and obedience. Once again, I turn to Peterson's interpretation in the Message, when he says, Jesus didn't think so much of himself that he had to cling to the advantages of divine status, no matter what. Jesus wasn't fooled of himself. Here he was in the form of God, but he chose to accept the form of a slave. My friends, that's humility. Rather than to take advantage of the advantage that he had, he humbled himself and became a servant. You know, Christianity works on principles opposite to those of the world around us. You've heard me call it this before, but I sometimes call it the upside-down kingdom of God. That's the principles that Christianity operates on. To be blessed, be a blessing to others. To be honored, first be humble. To truly live, die to yourself. To gain the unseen, let go of the seen. To receive, first give. To save your life, lose it. To lead, be a servant. To be first, be last. Reading from Philippians this morning, Paul will explain that the way up is down. That's right, down is up, and up is down. The way to be great is to go lower, to become a servant, to become a slave. The way up is down. The logical flow of Philippians has been building up to this great truth, which is so contrary to the way that we live our lives most of the time. Look at me. I'm somebody. I'm something. I've got power over a few, or I've got power over many. I have power over tens, or 50s, or 100, or 1,000. Look at me. Isn't that the way we live much of our lives? I remember when Flight 549 crash landed on the Hudson River because some geese or something had flown into the engines and the engines died, and Captain Solly Sollenberger landed the plane on the water, saving more than 150 people. And I saw in the aftermath of that, many times folks were interviewing him on TV, numerous TV shows, Good Morning America, all of them. And every time I saw that man on television, he exemplified humility. He was modest about his acts of courage, attributing his poise to his training over the years. You also might point to, as examples of the way up as down, to heroes of the past, such as astronaut Neil Armstrong, or Nelson Mandela, or Gandhi, or Mother Teresa. Glory and recognition came to all of these folks, though none of them saw it. Nor did they think it important for that recognition to come to them. But glory came in a counterintuitive way. The self-emptying of Jesus was based both on humility and obedience. Paul tells us he was in the form of God, but did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited. Jesus didn't take advantage of his position. I don't know about you, but I've worked for some folks in the past when I worked in industry who loved nothing better than to take advantage of their position. Loved nothing better. Same way in the military, when I was in the military. But he didn't regard equality with God as something to be exploited. Instead of remaining in the safety and the security of his divine existence, Jesus entered human life as a fetus, as a baby, a child, and eventually a man. C.S. Lewis, in his book Mere Christianity, suggests this. If you want to get the hang of it, meaning Jesus humbling himself and lowering himself, if you want to get the hang of it, C.S. Lewis says, think of how you would like to become a slug or a crab. Think about it. That's what Jesus did. But Jesus said yes to this emptying of himself and entering human life. And he did this out of obedience to God. Finally, how can we empty ourselves so that God will fill us? Most of us aren't going to be asked to follow Jesus to the point of death on a cross. But we are certainly challenged to show humility and obedience as we walk the path of Christ in the Word. We might try developing a welcoming attitude toward others. We might learn to walk, to humbly welcome folks, all folks, to come close. We can do that whether we're teaching or coaching or just shopping at the grocery store. We might try to be the servant of others. Our practice of self-emptying also includes the obedience to Jesus, who said to his followers, whoever wishes to be great among you must be your servant. You know, Jesus wants us to empty ourselves as he did and act as slaves to each other, just as he came not to be served but to serve and to give his life a ransom for men. We might try to be generous with our material things. We might try thinking the best of others, forgiving them when they don't know what they're doing. We might try praying for our enemies and those who persecute us. We might try being a peacemaker. We might try not denying ourselves and carrying a cross for a while. You want to know how to experience an emptying of self? That's how. Generous. Being a peacemaker. Denying ourselves. Praying for our enemies. Thinking the best of others and not the worst. The good news is that this emptying does not lead to embarrassment and powerlessness. Instead, it leads to great fullness in our lives. It leads to a great freedom in our lives. Jesus says that all who exalt themselves will be humbled, and all who humble themselves will be exalted. Down is up, and up is down. Exactly what he's talking about. Palm Sunday has always been a predictable show of kings and coats and crowds and cloaks and palm branches. But self-emptying, folks, turns our expectations upside down. But it's the key to his heavenly fullness.